pageant family and friends. Hey, I am so excited to get on here live with you this morning. We have a brand new title holder to talk to this morning. Our new Miss Washington's teen, Emma Adams, is going to be joining me this morning. I can't wait for you to meet her if you don't already know her. If you're already an Emma fan, which many of you are, our Miss Congeniality tying winner with the lovely Peyton Leibold this last weekend at Miss Washington's Teen. I am so excited to have Emma join us this morning. So I'm going to add her to my invitation list and we will get her on so that we can ask her some questions. A new title holder. But before we jump into our conversation with Emma, and she may jump on here while I'm in the middle of my yakking. There she is. There's the lovely lady.
Hi.
Good morning, Miss Washington.
Good morning.
Good morning. So good to see you. Well, real quick, before we jump into conversation with you, I just wanted to say a couple of things. So for those of you who follow me and you're familiar with my YouTube channel, you know that I'm a former Miss Washington, former Miss Washington USA, but I'm a former pageant girl, and now I have the privilege and the joy of being a mentor and a resource to amazing young women that I love pouring into, just like Miss Emma Adams. And really, the reason that I like to jump on and have conversations like this one is because all of the women who step under the crown have amazing stories. They're incredible women, incredible stories, hardworking young ladies who want to share of themselves with the world. They want to make a difference. They've got stuff they want to go out and do. And we as an audience, or as pageant fans, don't often get the chance to hear from them, to hear the whole story, to get the big picture, to talk about the fun stuff, and really dig into who they are, what they're all about, and what they intend to do in the job for the year. So I wanted to welcome Emma on this morning to talk about what it's like to be a brand new title holder, what she's got going on this week, and just hear a little bit about what her plans are for the year. So first of all, Missy, good morning. You look amazing. Notice the tall crown you have on. We graduated from local title holder to state title holder. How does it feel?
Crazy. It's still not real, you know? This is kind of what happened to me at Thurston County, and I think it's like the system repeats a little bit, where it doesn't set in for a few days, and then I just go off and do things, and I'm like, okay, well, this is this now, and it doesn't feel real. I still go back and watch the crowning video. Like, I was working on some stuff for social media, and I was looking at it, and I was like, that's somebody else up there. That's somebody else wearing my dress in my face. Like, that's not me. So it feels so surreal still, and it's just incredible. I actually was talking we have like a group chat for our class, and I was thinking about that, and we were talking, and I was like, I kind of have the like post-competition slump because I just miss my girls, and that's like the biggest thing I've been feeling lately. As I was like, this is really cool and all that, but I miss my girls.
Yes.
I miss my sisters.
Well, and you guys, you have such a short amount of time together, but it's so intense during that brief amount of time. So just for people who don't know, or young ladies who may watch this later, who are interested in competing, tell us a little bit about what the journey is like. So you arrive on what day of the week, and then what transpires before the class is busted up and everybody's sent their separate ways?
Yeah, so we moved into the hotel this last Wednesday, and that was kind of just like a simple, everybody move in, get your stuff sorted at the hotel. We didn't really have much planned. I think we had a meeting that night just to like get together and be like, hey guys, which was really fun, and a little bit of like a rehearsal to go over some of our production numbers. And then Thursday morning, bright and early, you have your private interview, and so you hit the ground running on Thursday. And then we move into the theater, and then that's where it really hits you because you see all the screens that say Miss Washington's Teen. And I remember walking into the theater the first time, and you have all the lights and the sounds and things, and I was like, oh my gosh, it's real. Like, we're here. That's crazy. And so then Thursday is kind of just a big rehearsal day, lots of prep work. And then Friday was preliminary night, and then you start competing. And which is honestly so fun. Honestly, I really liked prelim night because it didn't feel like a competition because everybody's there. There's no stress yet. quite yet. So everybody's just kind of hanging out. You're there, you're with your girlfriends, you're just performing, and it's so fun. And then Saturday, and then that stretch between Friday night prelims and the start of Saturday competition is the longest day of your entire life because you don't know how it's going to go and you're just waiting. And I remember that was my highest stressing moment because we had an alumni luncheon, we had some like rehearsals and things, but that whole time we're all like, oh my god, what's going on, this is crazy. And like everybody, the producers and things, they know because they have to, you know, put all the show together and run this whole rodeo.
Yes.
So it's really just the girls are like, we're all looking at each other like, oh, I don't know what's gonna happen, this is so exciting. And then you show up Saturday and it's finals competition, and I found myself throughout the whole day Saturday being like, in 6.5, I'm looking at the clock, I'm like, in 6.5 hours we're gonna have Nema's Washington thing. Okay, in 5 hours we're gonna have Nema's Washington. Like the whole time I'm like counting down and calculating the time, and I was just like, it's so unreal until it's there, and then it's still not real. Yeah.
So share with me, Emma, a sort of a precious moment, like something behind the scenes as you ladies were all getting to know each other, trying to work out the kinks with the production numbers, backstage, hair and makeup, all the stuff. You ladies you've gotten to know each other over the course of the year with regard to any of the gals who were involved in local, and then having the chat set up so you guys can converse in that arena. And then you get there and you get to spend time together. And then how do those friendships really gel? Share with me a couple of examples of maybe things that transpired that just were really special for you about the sisterhood.
There's a couple key moments that come to mind. One of which being with production numbers. So we get the way that works. We get videos.
They looked amazing, by the way.
They were
I'm
so
just gonna
good.
say, all of you ladies looked fabulous, and you were having so much fun. The choreography totally worked. It was such a fun show, and I know how hard you all worked before you even got to competition to learn those. But go ahead, tell me the story about production.
Yes, no, production is great. Chloe Fernstall, incredible job.
Yes.
Loved it. So fun. So we get, like I said, like you kind of said, we get the videos in advance and we learn parts of the choreography, and then once we get there, we mesh it all together. And learning it, we had like a long rehearsal and learned it all, and then, you know, some of it sticks and some of it doesn't. Yeah. And so I remember, I think it was on Friday morning, maybe it was Saturday morning, I can't remember now. I walk out of my hotel room, I have my bag in tow, and I hear the opening lines to our first production number, Pink. And I look down the hall and I see Cassidy and Cheyenne, two of our girls, and they're in the hallway and they're doing the little dance. And I was like, and I just joined in, and then somebody else came, I can't remember who now, but we all started coming out of the woodwork and started running production in the middle of the hotel hallway. And I remember that was so funny because we were just dying laughing because we're all in like various states of hair and makeup, and you know, half like prepared for the day. Yep. And we're all like just doing our production at like full power. It was so funny. But that was probably one of the moments where I was like, okay, yeah, we're all in this together. And that really is one of those good reminders from like someone looking at an outside perspective that it's not a competition against, it's a competition with. Yeah. Because at the end of the day, these are your girls no matter what, like no matter who wins or walks away with whatever. And so that was one of my best moments. And another more, I would say, not somber, but more emotional moment. We had a meeting on Saturday morning with just the teens and Crystal and Merrick, and we were all sitting there. And Crystal goes, well, I want you guys to just say how you're feeling right now. Like, if you just popcorn, say what you're feeling. And things got really real. We all had really like nice things to say, and I remember I tried to talk because I knew what I wanted to say, and I couldn't get it out all the way because I started crying because I just like it really hit me. I was like, after today, this is never going to be the same again. Yeah. And it's like there's never going to be another 2024 class. And I started crying so bad. And I remember going back to hair and makeup, and Amanda Cave, one of our sponsors, looks at me, she goes, girl, what happened to you? Because I just have these like tear streaks going through my makeup. I was like, I'm sorry. Like, it was very sweet. And it was really good to share that moment kind of before the storm a little bit, just to kind of hang out with each other and like just be proud of everybody. Yeah. It was really sweet. Yeah.
I love that our team director, Crystal Ramos, had the wherewithal to consider having you all sit down and have a conversation like that, because that's so valuable, even just to be given permission to have that release of emotion, especially as a group, right? How much smoother it is to just get get it all out, lay it all on the table, let everybody know where you're at. So such wisdom in that, and from a leadership perspective, I think that's a really special moment. Thank you for sharing about that, Emma. So of course we all want to know what the moment was like when the big deal happened. I mean, tell us, relive it for me. It's the two of you, our darling Ellie Schmidt standing out there on stage with you, and you're both waiting. Somebody's life is going to change for the next 365 days. And what's it going to be? What's the new assignment? Who gets assigned this job for the year? And they call Emma Adams.
It was crazy. Backing up a little bit just to give you the whole deal.
Yes.
I remember standing up there for top 5, and I was looking down the line and of these 5 girls, and I'm like, any of us could do it. And I was going through my mental picture, and I was like, I can see the crown on each and every one of these girls' heads. And no matter what, I was like, I'm so excited to stand here with them. And selfishly, I was like, I'm close enough that I can give whoever it is a hug. I'm on the line. I get to run and give the hug first. I'm ready. I was like, that was going through my head. And then they called 4, and then 3, and then and then it was me and Ellie. And I remember when they called Carrie Ann for second runner-up, my brain was like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited. And then was, oh my gosh, we're in the top 2. And I remember not wanting to look at Ellie yet when they called her name, because I knew that I was like, Carrie needs her full moment. And if I turn to Ellie, the camera's going to pan to us, and Carrie needs her moment. And I'm so freaking proud of her. And then I looked at Ellie, and it all went to crap, because I was like, oh, everything's going crazy. And I remember I was like, can I give you a hug? And so we death gripped each other because we're holding on for dear life. And then as you well know, there's this thing in pageantry where they always say the girl who has her hand on top, when they do the final 2 hold hands, they say the girl whose hands are on top is the winner. And so sometimes, which is not always true, but it's superstition, And so you always see, I love watching crowning videos, because you see the little cat squabble.
We're gonna fight it out.
Yep. And so after I was hugging Ellie, she goes, do you want to just hug instead of holding hands? And I go, yes, because 2 reasons. 1, you need to hold me upright. And 2, I don't want to fight you for the hands. So we did this kind of side hug thing, and we're gripping each other it was, and I'm really glad we did that, because when they called my name, my knees broke. I feel fully sunk. You can see it in the videos, my head tucked, and I felt folded into a ball. And she was like, nope, girl, we gotta get you up. And she was holding me upright. True sister moment right there. Love her dearly. But it's funny, because in that moment, while they're waiting and they're drawing it out, and we love Megan Bloom, but she draws it out. She knows what to do. The anxiety inducing moment. All I could think about was, I knew in my head it was going to be Ellie. And my thought was, earlier on in the day, when we walked out for top 12, or for top 12 in our gowns, I tripped on the back of her dress. And so my one thought was, when they call her name and I jump, do not, by God, Emma, do not trip on her dress again. And so I was fully ready to wrap my tail of my dress around me and hop up and down. I was so ready. And then they called my name, and I went the other direction. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is not how I thought this night was going to go, but amazing all the same. It was just, I literally, time stopped. I didn't hear anything. I couldn't see anything. It was so surreal. And the next thing I know, Emily's coming out behind me, and she's giving me a hug. It was just really, I look back on all my photos, and I'm ugly crying, and all of them, because it wasn't real in that moment, and it didn't set in. But yeah, it was truly just incredible. There was so many things going through my head. Just trying to organize them now was it was a lot. It was a lot.
It is a lot when your name is called, and especially when you've worked so hard. And so I wanted to talk for a few minutes about that, because you've been working toward this for a long time, and you did set a goal for yourself. I mean, it's not, you're not surprised that you find yourself under the crown at this time. We never know what the judges may decide, but we always prepare for the job, and you certainly have done that. And so just share a little bit, Emma, about your journey. I know that we talked previously and you mentioned how you got started, but share a little bit about the work that's gone into being, that brought you to be ready to put that crown on this morning.
Yeah, so when I first competed in, oh gosh, what was it, 2023, last year? I guess it was January, so my time is a little off. Yeah, in January of 2023, I was first runner up. And I took that really hard because I was like, that was it, you know, they like, if anybody's like me, this is niche, but I grew up watching Dance Moms, and Abby Lee Miller's always like, second place is the like she always says this whole thing against second place. And so I was like, Dance Moms, like, yeah, no, not true. But you know, we love a good reality TV. And so I remember taking it really, really hard, and I actually didn't want to run again. Um, but as I did go through the year and like the 10 months that followed, I noticed that like in myself, I was like, I could not have handled this role. Like me mentally, I was not prepared. Watching Charlize go through her year and kind of like being behind, I watched how she went to events and how she did things. And I was like, I couldn't have done this. I was not ready for this. But now that I know what there is to do, I could work towards, you know, working out a better schedule for myself and organizing my time better so that I have time to do these sorts of things. I got better at networking and working with people to try to make these connections. And so in October, when they called me for Thurston County, I was like, I'm ready. Now I know I can do all these things. And so then between October and June, I was like, okay, well, now I need to step up that game because now I know I can do it to a local level, but let me do it bigger. Let me do it better. The other thing that I think is really important, and this was kind of a lesson I learned, and I think it's really important that like all pageant girls know this, is like you have to be ready for the job before you have the crown.
Mm-hmm.
And going into the competition week, I truly believed that, you know, I can do all the steps to be Miss Washington's teen. I have done the events, I have done the things, I can do it. I'm just, a mentor of mine once told me, she goes, you already are Miss Washington's teen, your crown got lost in the mail. And you go into pageant week, not with like this haughty mindset of like, oh, I'm already better than every single one of you, but
No.
like in this mindset that you are what you set out to be, and you already have all the tools, resources, skills to put you in that role. And having worked so hard to build up those skills over the past 7 months, I was at ease going into competition week, and I wasn't stressed about how it would go because I knew I had already done it all before.
Yeah.
And I could do it again. And if the judges liked that, then that was good. And if they didn't, fine too. I've proved myself to myself
Yeah.
how capable I am, and I don't need a crown to tell me that,
Yeah.
really.
Yeah. I agree with you completely, Emma. So I am curious though, because going through a competition at the state level is obviously much different than competing at the local level. And you've competed twice at the local level and now once at the state level. And so I'm curious, as you've gone through that part of the journey where it's just an intense experience from Wednesday through to Sunday morning, and now you've sat down for your first breakfast with your board of directors, and you've gone through the first few days of your first week as Miss Washington's teen, and Miss Washington week is in full swing now. You've been out doing some appearances, and you've had some events already that you've attended. What do you know today differently about yourself than you knew when you checked in last Wednesday?
I'm I am not as self-reliant as I wish I was. And I don't mean that in a way to say like I need this, that, and the other and every other person. But my automatic reaction is to turn to my sisters or to turn to
Okay.
my people in my corner. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
And at the state level, they will always be my Sash sisters, but they're not there at this event. Like for the Miss, I was there at the Miss Arrival ceremony, and while a few people were there, they're not there. And so my automatic reaction when I need to like de-stress and cleanse is to
Mm.
turn and chat with my girls, and they're not there. And so that was something that I learned about myself. I was like, huh, I need a better coping mechanism. Because and that was the really good thing about this competition week, is that everybody is there. And while that might seem super overwhelming to some people to be in those close quarters, for me that was, I kind of like
Mm.
feed off that energy, and
Yeah.
that really worked for me. And so to start this week and not have that was a little like, oh, okay, I'm learning something new about myself. I need these people. I need my girls. And so and while I know that they're still there, it's different. Do you know what I mean?
Hmm. Hmm.
And so that's something that I've definitely learned. But um I'm excited to see, like, I have like 49, what is it, 50 now? No, 51. I can't even do math. Yes. 50, 51 other sisters that have added to the circle, and I'm excited to see how that's going to go.
Yeah.
Um, but I'm learning something about myself and how I handle things and how I handle stress. And that's something that I'm going to have to work on
Yeah.
in this coming year.
Yeah.
But
Well, and I would like to say something about that, Emma, because I think that even Vanessa, if you talked with her about this over the course of this week, would let you know, quite frankly and quite honestly, that it can be very lonely being a title holder, and you don't have your team of local friends that you've made over the course of the past year. I mean, you were crowned last October as Miss Thurston County. You've had a ton of time to get to know these women, and now they've gone back to their various duties and responsibilities in their communities, and now here you are carrying the torch for the class. And so I just, as a mentor, I would like to invite your class, the teen class of 2024 for Miss Washington's teen, to be a support system for you and to be encouragers to you. There was nothing more meaningful when I was a title holder than to have my sisters reach out to me and offer me encouragement, comment on social media, send me an email, call me, text me, leave me a, even now, I have some very dear friends, the Wawa sisters, and whenever I get a voice memo or anything from them, as that's encouragement, it's so valuable and it means so much, right? So I would just invite your class to continue to connect with you as you represent them for this next year. So given that, is there anything you would like to say this morning to your sisters?
oh my
I know there's some of
goodness.
them on here. There's some of them watching, and some
Oh
of
gosh.
them may catch it. Yeah.
Hi. um just like, oh gosh, so many things. Honestly, just a big thanks to all of them. um I had some, we all had, I think we all did, but I definitely know I had some low moments this weekend, where things were stressful. There was definitely phases where it got to be too much, or it wasn't. And I knew that there was always at least one girl in that room who was in the positive mindset and who had reminded me of something that, we had heard, or that I had said, or that something encouraging and uplifting. I remember one of our girls, this is a comment that I've heard. I can't actually remember who originally told me this. But there's the saying, you can't be nervous and grateful at the same time, which is like a scientific fact, but it's true. And I remember there was somebody backstage and she was really worried about her talent. And I said, and I brought that up. I said, you can't be nervous and grateful at the same time. And thinking about that, I was like, there's only 25 girls who get to stand here. That's so cool. How many girls are there in the state of Washington? And 25 of us are here.
Yes.
And it really hit me during opening number. And because you're standing there, the crowd's yelling at you, and it's so exciting. And there's 25 girls here. And no matter what, that's what matters. That's who you walk away with, is the 25 friends. And beyond that, who really cares? It's that you've gained so many things. And so when I was having a hard time, that was brought back to me. They were like, you have all of us. And at the end of the day, that's what matters. And at the end of the day, going back and watching through videos and looking at pictures and things, what's more exciting to me is not my crowning and my ugly crying, but the way that everybody behind me jumped up and down when they called my name, and with the way that they ran to hug me. And that's what mattered to me. I mean, yes, I care. It's so exciting, but that was more exciting to me as their friend, because, and being Miss Congeniality too, was that they knew what I had tried to do to help, and they appreciated it.
Yeah.
And I just want them to know that that goes the other way around. And I've genuinely could not have done it without all of them.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. I love that. Thank you, Emma. Thank you for sharing that. Again, congratulations
Yeah.
on the Miss Congeniality Award as well. I know that. So to kind of take us through this again, we talked about where you were in your head in the crowning moment, but then now the crown is on your head and your official duties begin. And so, what was that like for you when you had the realization, like, okay, pictures are done. Now we're going into, and you sat down with Crystal for the first few moments, and she was like, all right, here's what's next for you. So, share a little bit about how your mindset shifted from like, this isn't even real yet, and now I've got to go to work. Like, tell us a little bit about that.
It was a little overwhelming at first, I'm not gonna lie, because you're in this happy, like, mindset, and then it's like, okay, the job starts now.
Yeah.
And with all these things, and Sunday was a really busy day. We had Miss Arrival, and we had the Capitol Mall fashion show, and then I had dinner with my board, and it was in that moment I remember showing up, because you show up and then there's all the miss, and everybody's here to congratulate you, but then you have to go do something, and you have to go start working. And it was a little overwhelming. And the other thing was, I was on a lot of lack of sleep, because
Yes.
the adrenaline is
Yeah.
high, and I didn't sleep, so I was kind of like all over the place for the first day, which was a lot. And I remember like flailing just a little bit well, maybe more than a little bit, but I was definitely flailing on Sunday quite a bit. And it was a lot, and I had to like step back a little bit and go, wait a minute, like I need a second. And I remember we were trying to change, and Vanessa was there with me, and I was like, girl, I can't do this. Like I was like, I'm doing everything wrong. And I think I remember saying, I said, I'm doing everything wrong, and I feel like they messed up. This is not, I can't do this. And she comes to me, she goes, the grass is not always greener, but you are allowed to have all your emotions. She's like, no, she said, they gave you an extra crown, but no one can take what you feel away from you.
Yeah.
And she's like, it's okay to be overwhelmed, because it is a lot, and the fact that you are overwhelmed is an understanding of how cool and how like empowered you need to be to do this job.
Yeah.
And the sooner you realize that, the sooner you can step up to the plate. And I really took that to heart, because it's true, because the harder it feels, the more you know why you were given that role.
Yeah.
And so, and I was like, okay. And so I took a second, blotted my makeup a little bit. I was like, okay, we can do this. And then I was like, all right, now I'm ready to go, because now I know why I know why I can do
Mm-hmm.
this. And so that was kind of my moment where I like had to roll my shoulders back a little bit and go, okay, here we are. Let's go. Let's do this. I needed a minute, but now I'm here. And that's kind of important too, because I think that people have this idea that pageant girls are always like prim and proper, and you know what I mean. And while ideally we are in most circumstances, it's important that we feel too. We're people first. And so yeah, that was my moment where I was like, okay, this is real. Let's do it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's a big moment, and I'm so glad that Vanessa was there to kind of walk you through that, because that's one of the things that I really love about the teen and miss relationships that are formed as you ladies spend time together. And I know you only get Vanessa for a week, but you will the time that you spend together this week will be again a really intense experience, and so the two of you will always have that bond, just like you'll bond with your new miss, as well as the two of you figure out how to both do your job together over the course of the next several months before you go to national competition. So let's talk about that for a minute, because you're going to go to Miss America's Teen.
Oh my gosh. Crazy
I mean,
town.
are we even thinking about that yet, or are we still just kind of in the moment?
I think if we're thinking about it, it's like the exciting things, like, I'm going, and it's Disney World, and oh my gosh. If you know me, I'm obsessed with Disney and obsessed with Harry Potter. So
Great.
Disneyland and Universal are my happy place in this world, and I've been begging my parents to go again. So
you get to go.
Yeah. And this time, this time it's different, but oh my gosh, that's so cool. It's really just magical. And so, looking down the pipeline, I'm like, wow, like we have 6 months. It was 6.5 months, 6.5 months, and then I get to go to like Magic Land, and this is so cool. I think this is so funny. We get in the this is just a little anecdote I felt like I have to say. On our way back from the theater, we got a lovely little limo ride back to the hotel, and I'm sitting in this car with Crystal, and she records me. She goes, "Where are we going next?" And I think what she wanted me to say was Miss America's Teen, because that's, technically where we're going next. But I was so like in my head, I go, "The hotel, so I can take a nap." So it wasn't even real yet. She was like, "Yeah, but you're also going to Miss America's Teen." I was like, "Oh, okay, yes, that too."
Oh, that's
That thing. I was like, "Nap time." But yeah, crazy, 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 crazy. Wow. I mean, it's one of those things. I feel like I'm at one of the. So sorry, I'm like tripping over my words. I'm just so excited.
yeah, it's
Um,
exciting.
People talk about, they've watched Miss America their whole lives and they've grown up and like seen it. I never really watched it on television like a lot of people did growing up. Um, Genuinely, pageantry kind of entered my world just about a year and a half ago when I started in the system, and I hadn't really had much experience with it. So I've only watched Miss America like a few
Mm-hmm.
times, but still, it still hits the same where I'm like, this is a huge deal. This is something that not everybody can say that they did, and I get to do it, which is just insane. It just makes me so grateful for like the people that like, especially because it was so fast. This wasn't a lifelong dream of mine, or maybe it was and I didn't know it, but
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
threw myself into this kind of at full speed, and I said, "Mom, Dad, this is what I'm going to do now. Pageantry, this is what I'm going to do." And they said, "Okay, let me grab your stuff." And they were by me, and all the people that have stood by me and behind me and let me
Mm-hmm.
like leap into this at full
Yeah.
speed. It just makes me really grateful to have a support system like I do,
Mm-hmm.
because I know not every girl gets that kind of support from
Mm-hmm.
their family and their friends when something, because pageantry is so, misconceived or a niche thing, and so it makes me really grateful that I have people who are willing to help me in every step of this process, and they get to share the joys and the victories as much as hopefully as much as I do.
Yeah, yeah, for sure, Emma, and that's why we're all so excited for you. Not only to start the job of Miss Washington's Teen, which you're already on the path, right? And so, but also to then watch you go on and just see what may be available to you on the national stage, because we think you're amazing and we think you're going to be a great representative for us. So, I'm going to let you go because I know you have another engagement this morning and you need a little travel time to get there. Crystal told me not to keep you too long because I know we could just kibitz for
Oh
easily an
yes,
hour plus, but
of course.
we'll have to save that for coffee some other time. But tell us where you're going next. Not to Miss America's Teen, but literally like next.
Um, I'm gonna go brush my teeth,
Yep.
and then I'm actually gonna interview for KGY Radio with
Yes.
Vanessa right here in Olympia. Kevin Huffer is the host of that, and he is a big part of the Thurston County board, and so he's always been a good support of me. So when I said, "Hey, can I come in and can I tag along with Vanessa in an interview?" He's like, "Yeah, come on, like let's go." And I was like, "Okay." So I'm gonna go interview for that, and then I'm gonna go join the Miss, tag along with them a little bit later today and
Okay.
get ready for
So
Miss
right
Washington.
now, the Miss Washington pageant is in full swing. We're prepping for competition starting on Friday night
Mm-hmm.
at Capitol High School. And I do know that tickets are still available for the show. It's not quite sold out, but close.
Or just
Um,
almost.
yeah, prelims Friday night and finals on Saturday night. I do also know that there is access to the live stream for a small fee via the Miss Washington organization website. And so we will have a new Miss for you in
Oh my
just a
gosh.
couple of evenings. Very exciting. So I want you to go and enjoy all the time that you can possibly get with my sister, Vanessa, because she is a delight and has been a fabulous representative for us this year. But I'm excited, just as you are, to see who's going to be spending the rest of this year with you, at least up until the Miss America competition and the Miss America's Teen competition, because who knows, one of you might end up having yet another sparkly hat, an even taller one. They just get bigger. Did you know that?
We just be like through the roof. Yeah.
Yeah, they just get taller. So I'm so excited for you, Emma. Congratulations again on achieving this great accomplishment. I know how hard you worked. I know how you prepared. I know you really wanted to do this job for our state. And I'm just excited to see the work that you're going to do, not only as a brand ambassador for the organization, but you have a really special service initiative. And so if anybody wants to know more about the work that you are doing this year, how can they follow you on social media so that they can see the other things that you've already been doing and what you're going to continue in your work with your service?
For sure. So check my new social media handle, Miss America's Teen WA, or to see what I've done in the past. Miss Thurston County's Teen WA was my previous handle, or my personal account at Philamer54, Philamer 54. Just to kind of see what I'm up to. Feel free to reach out. Love chatting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I just one last thing, just so everybody knows, you are 17 years old. You are a senior in high school this year, and you are going to just do an amazing job representing us for the state of Washington at Miss America's Teen. Emma, I wish you all the best of luck. Thank you for hopping on here with me this morning. Enjoy the week, and I'll be listening for you on KGY here, hopefully sometime between now and noon today. We'll be able to hear the broadcast that you do with Kevin Huffer and learn a little bit more about what you've got going on.
Thank you so much.
All right. Take care, dear.
Bye.